Anime has conquered the world. What was once a niche interest confined to late-night cable blocks and bootleg VHS tapes has become a global cultural phenomenon. Generation Z watches anime every week at rates approaching 42% in America alone. Streaming services dedicate entire platforms to it. Major studios pour millions into adaptations. The Japanese anime market exceeded $21 billion in 2023 and shows no sign of slowing. But here's what makes anime's global dominance truly remarkable. It achieved all of this without compromise. While Hollywood frantically chases global audiences by sanding down cultural specificity, anime just remained defiantly, unapologetically Japanese. And according to the very people who create and distribute it, that's exactly how it should stay. Today we're exploring a fascinating contradiction: how anime became a worldwide sensation by refusing to cater to worldwide tastes, and why its creators insist that the rest of the world needs to adapt to them, not the other way around. Let's start with one of the most influential voices in anime, Hideaki Anno, director of Neon Genesis Evangelion. In a recent interview with Forbes Japan, Anno made his position crystal clear. When asked how the globalization of anime is affecting production, he stated flatly, "I personally never made anything with the overseas audience in mind. I can only make domestic stuff." Anno isn't just being stubborn, he's articulating a fundamental creative philosophy. Quote, "My stance is simply, it first needs to be a work that will be well received and found interesting in Japan. But if by any chance people overseas also found it interesting, I'd be grateful for that." End quote. He didn't stop there. Anno explained that works created through a Japanese thought process can only be truly understood in Japanese. While he acknowledges that film has visual and sound elements that particularly transcend language barriers, the drama itself, the emotional core, relies on Japanese linguistic nuances. And then came the statement that crystallizes his entire philosophy. Quote, "I'm sorry, but the audience will have to be the one to adapt." End quote. This isn't arrogance. Anno compares it to how Hayao Miyazaki and Studio Ghibli operate. They stick to domestic production without even thinking about overseas markets. The creative work comes first. The business of selling it globally, that's someone else's problem. Quote, "We should let the business people turn our works into products and sell them. That's the best course of action," Anno explains. He acknowledges that Japanese content struggled to reach the West for years, partly because we are kind of bad at selling them. But the solution isn't to change the content, it's to get better at distribution. It's not just individual creators that feel this way. The entire industry ecosystem has aligned around protecting anime's Japanese identity. Rahul Parimi, CEO of Crunchyroll, the world's largest anime streaming service, stated during Anime Expo 2024, quote, "I believe that anime must be inherently Japanese and told from the perspective of Japanese creators. We want more anime, more diverse stories, and it's important that Japanese creators continue to be involved in them." End quote. Think about that for a moment. The CEO of a streaming service owned by Sony Pictures Entertainment, operating in dozens of countries, explicitly states that anime must remain fundamentally Japanese. This is the opposite of how global media typically operates. Perini clarified that the IP being adapted can come from anywhere. Indian stories, Korean webtoons like Solo Leveling, even anime properties like Terminator. But the crucial element is that Japanese creators must be telling these stories through anime. Quote, "For example, we may introduce Indian IP to Japanese creators and suggest that if they turn this IP into an anime and tell a story, it might resonate with audiences in that region." End quote. This approach acknowledges that anime isn't just an animation style, it's a storytelling method, a cultural lens, a way of protecting and presenting narratives that come from Japanese sensibilities and traditions. If you've made it this far and are enjoying what you've seen and heard, please like the video and subscribe to the channel. Kadokawa anime producer Tokoya Yoshioka echoed these sentiments when discussing the success of My Happy Marriage. He told the television, quote, "I believe that in any visual work, There are elements that can only be created based on the cultural background of the country or region and the values that have cultivated over a long period of time, and that there is an animation that can only be created with the sensibility and nature born in Japan." End quote. Yoshioka's concerns run deeper than just aesthetics. He worries about the industry's future as Chinese and Korean animation capabilities catch up to Japan's. Quote, "I am concerned that, rather than many anime works being produced overseas and coming into Japan, if things can be made overseas with cheap costs and labor, investment will be directed there, leading to the decline of domestic production capacity and industry." End quote. But his solution isn't protectionism, it's sustainability. He advocates for what he calls truly sustainable anime production, where Japan maintains its unique creative voice while building a stable foundation for growth. Quote, "It is the responsibility of video makers to protect the unique video expression method called anime, born in this country and its culture, protect and develop the production environment and functions, and continue to produce anime with continuity." End quote. Interestingly, there's tensions within the Japanese industry itself about what protecting anime actually means. Veteran producer Taro Maki, known for Tokyo Godfathers and Serial Entertainment's Lane, has criticized how the industry's risk-averse nature is actually undermining creativity. In an interview with IT Media Business, he pointed out that 85.7% of fall and winter 2025 anime were adaptations of existing works, with only 14.3% being original creations. The problem, according to Maki, is Japan's businessman producer culture. Quote, "There are many businessman producers, and in Japan, the system of evaluation basically focuses on minus points rather than plus points. In other words, not making any mistakes ends up being their main priority." End quote. This creates an environment where only safe adaptations get greenlit. Quote, "Nowadays, original works like manga or novels become hits, and then they get an anime adaptation, which would tie into the business of the publisher. Almost 90% of the whole industry is built around this kind of framework." End quote. This is similar to the issues of Hollywood productions in America. For years, people have complained that original ideas hardly ever get greenlit. We're inundated with remakes, reboots, retreads, spin-offs, sequels, and cinematic universes. If it's an unknown or original property not tied to an already established IP, it gets shuffled off to a smaller studio with a fraction of the budget as the big-time players like Universal, Disney, Paramount, and so on. Maki's critique isn't about losing Japanese identity, it's about losing creative courage. He argues that ideally, 30% of anime should be taking risks and trying new things, not just adapting proven hits. Quote, "We can create a healthy anime industry only if we manage to find this balance." End quote. He recalls that acclaimed directors like Hayao Miyazaki and Sanu Katabuchi of In This Corner of the World went through trial and error with mid-performing original works before creating their masterpieces. Quote, "The role of producer is precisely to create room for those kinds of challenges." Maki laments, quote, "Back in the day, there was a culture of watching slightly complex films at small art house theaters, and that's what gave us some room to take on new things ourselves. But now, there are no such spaces, and I feel everything has become a bit shallower." End quote. So why has anime's refusal to globalize actually made it more globally successful? There's a paradox at play. In an entertainment landscape where everything is focus grouped and algorithmically optimized for maximum appeal across all demographics, anime offers something refreshingly specific. It's unabashedly itself. When you watch anime, you're not getting a product designed by committee to offend nobody and please everybody. You're getting stories filtered through a specific cultural lens. Japanese mythology, social hierarchies, food culture, relationship dynamics, humor, aesthetics, all of it. This specifically is what makes it interesting. People don't watch anime despite its Japaneseness, they watch it because of it. The cultural differences aren't bugs, they're features. They offer a window into another way of thinking, living, and storytelling. Compare this to how Hollywood approaches global markets. Studios bend over backwards to avoid anything that might not translate, stripping away cultural specificity until stories become generic and bland. Characters speak in bland international English, Settings could be anywhere, references are explained to death or removed entirely. This is where the meme comes in, where you put up a picture of 4 different high fantasy series and try to guess which is which. You can't. There's nothing distinguishing about it. There's nothing culturally significant about any of it. It's all the same. The result? Nobody's particularly excited. When everything is made for everyone, it ends up mattering to no one. Anime took the opposite approach. It stayed Japanese, and international audiences learned to adapt. We learned what onigiri are. We figured out school club hierarchies. We picked up Japanese honorifics. We came to understand why characters take their shoes off indoors and why festivals matter. The audience met the medium halfway, and that investment created genuine engagement. This doesn't mean the path forward is simple. The Japanese animation industry faces serious challenges that threaten its sustainability. The working conditions are notoriously brutal. Animators work punishing hours for poverty wages. Many fans noted that when Crunchyroll CEO talked about keeping anime Japanese, he conspicuously avoided mentioning the industry's labor problems. One Reddit comment captured the frustration, quote, "Promote better pay and scheduling for workers should have been part of that conversation." There's also brain drain to consider. Kodokawa executive Takeshi Kikuchi has noted that the gaming industry is 30 years ahead of anime in globalization and pays significantly better. Talented animators are leaving for game studios or overseas opportunities. The Nikkei reported in 2025 on the exodus, noting that veterans don't have time to properly train newcomers due to crushing schedules, creating a knowledge transfer crisis. Meanwhile, China and Korea are rapidly developing their own animation industries. Chinese film Neza 2 recently became the highest-grossing animated film of all time at over $2 billion. Korean studios like PPURI earned widespread acclaim for their work on Solo Leveling's opening. These countries are investing heavily in animation while offering better working conditions. Yet, even here, the response from Japanese industry leaders isn't to westernize or globalize, it's to protect what makes Japanese anime unique while improving the sustainability of production. There's also pushback from some overseas audiences who want anime to change. X and social media are filled with demands that anime conform to Western sensibilities, less fan service, different character designs, more diverse representation as defined by American standards, content warnings, localization that removes cultural references. But the industry has largely dismissed these complaints. The message from creators like Ano is clear. The work is made for Japanese audiences first. If international viewers enjoy it, wonderful. If they don't, that's not the creator's problem to solve. This might sound harsh, but it's actually freeing. It allows creators to make bold choices without second-guessing how every decision will play in dozens of different cultural contexts. The result is work that feels genuine rather than calculated. Crunchyroll CEO Jita Ribapragada touched on this, noting that anime's Japanese perspective is precisely what makes it work. Even when adapting international IP, having Japanese creators tell these stories through anime gives them a distinct flavor that audiences have come to love. Here's what international audiences gain by adapting to anime rather than demanding anime adapt to us. We get to experience genuine art. We see stories that matter deeply to their creators, told in ways that feel authentic rather than sanitized. We encounter cultural perspectives that challenge our assumptions. We expand our understanding of how stories can be told, what emotions can be explored, what themes matter. When we learn to appreciate anime on its own terms, understanding the context, accepting the cultural differences, meeting it where it is, we become better, more sophisticated media consumers. We develop cultural literacy. We gain appreciation for specificity over universality. And frankly, the alternative, anime made to please everyone, would be terrible. We've seen what happens when Japanese creators try to make global content that panders to Western expectations. It usually fails because it loses what made anime special in the first place. Anime conquered the world by being itself. As it continues growing, with the industry projected to reach 20 trillion yen by 2033, the fundamental question remains: will it stay true to its roots? Based on everything we've heard from creators, producers, and distributors, the answer is yes. But that commitment requires backing it up with structural support. The industry needs sustainable production models, fair wages for animators, investment in original content alongside adaptations, and protection of creative spaces where new ideas can take risks and sometimes fail. The good news? International audiences have already demonstrated they're willing to meet anime halfway. We'll learn the cultural context, we'll read subtitles, we'll engage with stories told from a Japanese perspective. We've been doing it for decades now, and anime has never been more popular. So when Hideaki Anno says, "I'm sorry, but the audience will have to be the one to adapt," he's not actually apologizing. He's drawing a line in the sand. Anime will remain Japanese, told by Japanese creators through Japanese sensibilities. Take it or leave it. And overwhelmingly, audiences around the world have decided to take it on anime's terms, not ours. That's not a compromise. That's a cultural exchange done right. That's how art transcends borders while maintaining its soul. The world adapted to anime. The anime became better for refusing to adapt to the world. May it stay that way. I would love to discuss your opinions on anime's global appeal and whether it should remain inherently Japanese. Let's talk about it in the comments below. This has been 3PC, Past Present Pop Culture. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.